Well, hi, this is Eastern Christian Computer Coding class, and this is one of the first videos you'll probably watch, and it's getting started using code, using a website that's called Replit. So let's go ahead and look at the website. I'm just going to quickly sign out so you can see how to get started. So here's Replit. I believe that's how you say it, repl.it. So that's where you would go to. You might want to bookmark that so you can find it quickly, but it is an easy website to remember. So when you hit the sign up button, you'll be able to sign up using your school Gmail account. So if you click on this now, because I've already signed up before, when I click on this, I believe it's going to skip a few steps that you might have to go through. So just go ahead and work your way through the steps, but eventually, and once you've done it before in the past, you'll get to here when you get started. If your screen looks a little different, it might have a few advertisements on it for various features that Replit is featuring, and you can close those and eventually you'll get to this screen. Now, we're going to be using Python. Replit actually works and it supports many other different languages, but we're going to be creating replas or code using Python, which you can do there. You can also click the plus button and get started with it here. If you do it this way with the plus button, it gives you a chance to name your project right away. You can of course rename it later if you did it the other way, but it randomly chooses a few strange words for you for its name, and you might want to name them things like, assignment 1, or a lot of my work that you'll do might be like, maybe you'll be working on something called conditionals 1, and stuff like that. So you could type in names that make sense for the projects you're working with rather than the random names. For right now, we're just going to create a quick test code just for fun. And then we're going to hit create repla. Just in case this changes in the future, I want to show you that on my version it's running Python 3.8.2. Python 3 works a little bit different than Python 2, which you might guess, but Python 2 is not actually old. They're both very good versions of Python. It's just that they will look a little bit different when we code them. So I am teaching using Python 3 is the thing that you need to know there. And what this looks like. So a few things on the screen. First of all, this right here where it says main.py, this is where we're going to type our code. So when we type things in right here, code goes here. Now, that's not good code, so it's going to give me some error messages. If I put a hashtag, that's actually called a comment, and now I'm writing comments. Except why did it spell check my comment? It really shouldn't. Wow. Because it really shouldn't be changing what I do for my comments. Anyway, over here, this is called the output screen. So when we write our code, we are then going to hit the run button, and we're going to see the results of our code over here in the output. And so that's basically how code works. As you're doing your code over here, it's got some interesting features that you may want to know about. The first one is that it tries to kind of help you as you type. And so as I'm typing something, I'm going to use this function called print. And so it kind of has these pop-up help buttons. In fact, I can even hit this little button here for even more information. So as I start typing, and then print always takes, as you might see here, these parentheses. So as I type the parentheses, it automatically types the close parentheses for me because it knows that if you have an open parentheses, you're going to need a close parentheses. I'm going to type something using quote marks, so I'm going to put in just a single quote. You could do double quotes as well, but either one works. And you'll notice it does the ending quote mark for you, because again, quote marks need matching beginning and endings. So as opposed to some of the other programs that you might use, this one tries to help you as you code. So you just have to pay attention, because sometimes it's going to be typing things there for you that maybe you're not expecting. So the very first program you might want to create is a program called Hello World. Now again, this is guessing at a whole bunch of different things that you might want to do with the print function, and it's all there to help. You can ignore it for the most part. So you'll see here now we have a good program. It highlights these things to show you that there's a match, that there's a beginning and an end one. And then when I hit the run button, it shows me the results of my code, which is Hello World. Yay, I printed to the screen, the print command, which we'll learn officially later, but sends information to the screen. And so we've printed Hello World. Over here in the output, if you want to run it again, you can hit the clear button to go back to no output, so that when I run it again, I can see it. Or I could just hit the run again, and it will automatically clear for you, but it may be not as clear that it's happening over again. So that's the basics of this, and the only things you'll need to know for now. A few other things. First of all, if you need to rename your code, it's right here. You can give it different names. You'll notice the actual program is called main.py. You don't have to worry too much about that, but you could also maybe rename that? Maybe not. I guess the main one is always called main.py. There's some settings here that I just want to take a minute to look at. If you don't like these two things next to each other, you can change them to the stacked view, where you do the code on top and you run the results on the bottom. A lot of people, of course, especially coders, they like dark themes. So why use light themes when you can use dark themes? So that's in there. Changing the size and most of these other things you don't have to worry about. If you get sick of all those pop-ups when you code, you can disable code intelligence. Now when I type my print, see nothing's coming up. Oh, it's still smart enough to put my ending stuff here. But I don't get the pop-ups as I type about like how to use print and things like that, which might be confusing. So you can get rid of that code intelligence if you want. In fact, I think I'm going to leave mine disabled. In fact, I'm going to change my theme to dark as well, so it's always like that, because that's how I would like to use it. Now, when you're all done with your code and you want to give it to me, what you can do is you can hit the share button, and you can invite me to the code. This is one option. If we wanted to work on the code together, this is what you would do, because then you could just invite me, and I can't invite myself, but then I could join your code and we could both type at the same time. You could also just share it, and I don't even like sharing it that way. I'll show you a different way to do it. And see here, you can join. So if you don't want to invite somebody, you can just send them this URL, and that's another way they can see your code. So you might want to do it that way. And then finally, another way to do it is when you're back up in here, you can click here and you can say copy the link to my code. And now if I open up a new tab and paste, it's going to send a link to that. So many different ways that you can do it. Oh, one other way. Let's just say you want to show me your code. You can always just highlight your code and hit the copy button. Command C or Control C, and paste that into whatever you want to send me, like an email or whatever, if you want to say, here's what my code looks like. So you can send me a link, you can invite me with share, or you can copy and paste the code. So that's the basics of using this, and as you learn actually what code goes here, you'll learn a whole bunch more fun things to do with it. So I hope that helps, and good luck using it.